Hi guys, in this video let's learn how to draw rectangles. There will be so many ways to draw rectangles. So in this video let's learn the three kind of ways to draw rectangle. Okay, the first one, this one, can draw the rectangles onto this space, right? But this case draw the rectangles without using array, which means if you don't use the array, you never keep some kind of information of each rectangles, which means you cannot save, you cannot store the colors of each rectangles. So it is just drawing the rectangles. It cannot interact, it cannot change by mouse event or something. Okay, that's the first one. The second and the third one is using array variable, which means we can store the colors or some information for each rectangles. So in this case, just black and white. But anyway, that's the color. So this second and third one using array, and the second one, this one is using mousePressed variable. The last one uses mousePressed function. You mean this press variable, mousePressed function, they have the same names, but the last one has the parenthesis, which means this mousePressed is a function. As a result, finally, as conclusion, I recommend to use the mousePressed function rather than variable. The reason why, so for the last case, if you click one time, you can change the colors from black and white. So it's stable, right? If you click one time, you can change white. By just click once again, you can change into black. But the second way, this way, is not stable. So let me see. If you click one time, sometimes you can change the color, but sometimes it doesn't. Did you see the effect? The reason why this kind of effect is this mousePressed variable was used in draw function. Draw function runs so fast. So during the mouse clicking event, this mousePressed variable can be checked more than 2 times. So that's why it can change the color sometimes, but sometimes it cannot. Let's start with the first example, this one, without using array. But for color, we are using the color palette, color canvas. So this variable C is one-dimensional array, and that has the color variable, color data type. So the sharp in processing language means the hexadecimal number. So the first color will be red, green, blue, and yellow. That's the colors that I like best. And length variable has the 30. That means each rectangle has 30 width and 30 height. So that's the length of rectangles. Let's see the setup function. So setup function, size function call to make the canvas, and no stroke, and frame rate of 1. We'll know that. And draw function, we are using for nested loop, which means there is another for loop inside the for loop, right? Here, what this thing means, width divided by length. Width is the width of the canvas, length of the width of the rectangle. So if you divide the width variable by length, that's the number of columns, number of rectangles, number of columns. Like that, length divided by length, height divided by length is the number of rows of rectangles. Here you have to be careful this one, int function. This one has the random integer number from 0 to 3. 0 to 4, not 4, 0 to 3. So the first color will be C bracket 0, C bracket number 1, C bracket number 2, C bracket number 3, right? So after calling the fill function, we will draw rectangle. So X variable is for column, Y variable will for the rows, right? So if you run this code, you can see this one. Let's see the second way. So this way, using the two-dimensional array to keep the colors of each rectangles. So the length variable is same, and this two-dimensional array has the Boolean data type. Boolean data type means it can only contain true or false. True or false, that is called Boolean. So the variable two-dimensional array variable name will be map. And in the setup function size, background, length, that's the same. And that's the initialization of a map two-dimensional variable. Exactly speaking, that's not initialization. So this nested for loop is for initialization. This is just for having to make a space to have the memory of two-dimensional variable. So this is two-dimensional variable declaration. So we need a space. That's why we need a new keyword to make the space of length by length. So the first one length will be the row, and the second thing will be height, column, right? So the first dimension is row dimension. The second thing is column dimension. You have to be careful. So let me explain once again. So the first one, this one means the number of rows. The second number means the number of columns. So actually, on graphical dimensioning, the first number will be the y dimension, and the second number will be x dimension. You have to be careful. So in for nested loop, we have to use like that. The first element should be y, which means row, and the second number should be x, which means the column. So in setup function, we are now initializing all the members of map array with false, because map is a Boolean variable. That's why we can use false or true. So let's see the draw function. Let's go down a little more. So in draw function, you are using mousePressed variable. So this is mousePressed variable. Keep in mind the P should be capital. So usually it is recommended that use capital letter if you combine more than two words. So the first letter of the second word should be capital. That's some kind of recommendation. So if you press the mouse, if the map variable has true, which means it's black, so you have to be careful of this expression. So this is same as the way which we use for the breakout game. So if you divide mouse x, y position by length, that should be number of rows of array. So let's see. Let me explain. So let's guess mouse y variable is 59, and here the length is 30, and this division will be integer division, which means this one is number 1. So 59 will be around here, right? So from 30 for the y position to the 59, there will be the first number, not zeros, the first cell of these rectangles, right? So this mouse y divided by length will be number 1 in case mouse y has 59. That's I think as I know, that's the most simple way to get the index number. So if this number is true, which means it is black, we have to change the element values with false to change the colors. Else, we are gonna change true. So whenever you click some rectangles, it can change the colors, vice versa, white to black, black to white. So that's for mousePressed checking. And let's go down a little more. So this is end of the draw function. So this is for drawing the map like that, and this is using for nested loop. That's the same. So you have to set the colors. If the map color is rectangle is true, there will be black color. Else there will be white color. So here, as I told you, the first element of the two-dimensional array should be y, which means the row. So second thing will be the column. Keep in mind, sometimes you can just prefer the use to x for the first one and y for the next one. That doesn't work. And you can draw the rectangles here. So let me see the result. So if you click some rectangle, sometimes it can change the color, sometimes it doesn't. That's why I told you I don't recommend to use mousePressed variable, because as I told you, the draw function runs so fast, right? Whenever you click somewhere, it can be checked more than 2 times. So it can change 1 time and it can change once again. That's why it doesn't sometimes change the color. So I don't recommend to use mousePressed variable. So in the next example, we are using mousePressed function. Let's see the last way, the third way. So the left one is using the left one is mousePressed variable. The last one is using mousePressed function. So let me tell you the difference. So from here to here, that's same, like that. Yeah, that's the same. So let's go down to the draw function to compare. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Let's see the difference. So if you use the mousePressed variable, you have to make the code inside the draw function like this, right? But if you use mousePressed function, in the previous video, I told you what is the function in Processing, right? This is mousePressed function is also system function. So you need to fill up the body. So you can copy and paste all the code inside the if statement to here. That's exactly same. But the difference is this mousePressed function is gonna be called just 1 time per each mouse clicking. Yeah, just 1 time. But this mousePressed variable checking will be done more than 2 times in a draw function. That's the difference. Let's see the code detail. So this is mousePressed function. So in mousePressed function, it's called automatically whenever you press the mouse. So let's go to the draw function now. So by taking out the mousePressed checking routines out of the draw, so draw function is much more simple. So it has that's the for loop. So this is for selecting the color. That's the same, I think, and the other codes are same. So the only difference is the last way is using the mousePressed function, not mousePressed variable. So let me show you. So if you click just 1 time, it can change the color, black and white to black. It's really stable. Do you know why I introduced these things to you? That is the map makers. In game, you can make your own map, right? So let me see some kind of example. Have you ever seen this kind of pictures? So you can, in some game, you can make your own game map, right? So this kind of program is called game editor or game map editor. So if you upgrade this program, you can make your own game and your own game maker too, game map maker too. So in our previous video, we made a breakout game. Maybe you can try to make the game map with these tools. Later, I can tell you how to use file in your computer. So after making the map, you can store the game map information on the file. So in game, you can load the game map to make a diverse game map.